Attention passionate Philadelphia, EAGLES FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Philadelphia Eagles' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Philadelphia Eagles fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Philadelphia, EAGLES FANS. Let's get to the news. Now, everyone who's been paying attention to the NFL and especially to the Eagles knows that Philadelphia has been building a roster that's pretty much the envy of the league. When you look at their core, the talent, the depth, the versatility, they're really in a fantastic spot. But as always, even the most complete teams have their questions. They're areas that need some fine-tuning or even bold moves to stay at the top. And for the Eagles, one of those key areas has been the tight end position. This has been a bit of a lingering concern, especially when you consider the aging of their primary tight end, Dallas Goedert, who has been a standout for Philly. But, as we all know, the NFL is a league where youth and potential often dominate the roster decisions. Goedert, who's been a reliable target and a key player in their offensive schemes, is now facing the reality of his age and the natural decline that comes with it. The Eagles have to plan for the future, and that future is uncertain because the tight end room is not exactly overflowing with proven talent beyond Goedert. So, it's no surprise that the Eagles have been trying to find some fresh blood to plug into this gap. Over the past few months, it's been a bit of a scattershot approach, as they've signed a handful of veterans on cheap contracts, hoping to strike gold or at least find a reliable backup who can step up when needed. Behind Goedert, the depth chart has been somewhat thin, with Grant Calcaterra, a guy with potential but still unproven at the NFL level, holding the backup spot. The question now is whether these signings will be enough to sustain the team through a long NFL season and possibly a playoff run. And right now, the signs point to some uncertainty. The Eagles have been looking to add more talent, more athleticism, and more reliability to that tight end roster, but the options are limited and the competition is fierce. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. The Eagles had previously agreed to a contract with Nick Muse, a tight end who was with the Minnesota Vikings. Muse's story is quite intriguing. Coming out of South Carolina, he was a guy many draft analysts looked at with interest. Despite not having eye-popping stats, just 67 catches over 3 college years, he was praised for his athleticism, effort, and potential as a versatile, two-way tight end. His athletic gifts made him a somewhat intriguing project, especially for teams looking for a tight end who could block effectively and contribute as a receiver. But as with many players who enter the NFL undrafted or on the fringe, reality is tough. Muse spent 3 seasons with the Vikings, but his production was minimal, just 1 catch in the NFL. Most of his contributions came on special teams, where he was praised for his effort and tackling. The Eagles' approach to this position has been strategic, but also a little unpredictable. They've signed Harrison Bryant, a former Cleveland Browns tight end, who has shown flashes of promise but has been criticized for his blocking. They also managed to steal Kylen Granson from the Colts, a player with a unique skill set more aligned with a receiving tight end or an H-back role. It's clear that Philly's coaching staff values receiving ability and versatility in this position, rather than just traditional inline blocking. That's a trend we've seen more and more in the NFL, where the tight end isn't just an extra blocker but a true weapon in the passing game. So, what about Muse? Well, despite reports that he has had a strong minicamp, showing good effort and athleticism, his path to making the Eagles roster looks increasingly complicated. The reality is that the team already has a crowded tight end room with Bryant and Granson, both of whom have their own strengths and weaknesses. Bryant's blocking has been a point of concern, and Granson's skill, set as more of a pass-catching threat, makes him a favorite in the eyes of the coaching staff. Muse's limited production at the NFL level and his college background, which didn't showcase a lot of pass-catching volume, might work against him unless he can impress during the preseason and prove he can be a reliable target. And let's not forget, the NFL is a brutal league. Roster spots are fiercely contested, and players often need to demonstrate more than just potential. They need to produce on the field, especially in the preseason games. which are the ultimate audition. Muse may have a chance if he can put enough on tape during the upcoming preseason games, showing his blocking, effort, and maybe even a few catches that highlight his receiving upside. But unless injuries strike, or one of the current tight ends falters dramatically, the odds are stacked against him making the final roster. Now, stepping back and looking at this from a broader perspective, the Eagles have been one of the most balanced, well-coached teams in the league. Their roster construction has been meticulous, and the front office has shown a clear vision of building around their young quarterback, Jalen Hurts, who has blossomed into one of the league's top dual-threat quarterbacks. The offensive line remains formidable, the receivers are among the best in the league, and their defensive front has been stout. But every team has its questions, and the tight end position, even with Goedert's excellence, remains a bit of a puzzle for the Eagles. They're betting on youth, potential, and the coaching staff's ability to develop these players into the weapons they need. The NFL preseason will be crucial for players like Muse and the other tight ends vying for a spot. It's a time where flashes of talent, effort, and football IQ can make all the difference. Philadelphia's coaching staff will be looking for consistency, reliability, and perhaps a surprise breakout. The tight end position might not seem glamorous compared to the flashy wide receivers or the dominant pass rushers, but it's a position that can win or lose close games, especially in critical third-down situations or in the red zone. The Eagles know this well, and that's why they're keeping a close eye on their options. Looking ahead, the expectations for the Eagles this season are sky-high. They're seen as one of the top contenders in the NFC, with a legitimate shot at returning to the Super Bowl. The NFC is competitive, no doubt, but the Eagles have built a roster that can compete with anyone. They've got star power, depth, and a coaching staff that's proven to be among the best. But every championship run requires not just talent, but also a bit of luck, good health, and the right development at every position, including tight end. The team's front office and coaching staff are well aware of that, and they're working tirelessly behind the scenes to make sure they're as prepared as possible. The division itself is also shaping up to be more competitive than ever. The Cowboys, Giants, and Washington Commanders have all made moves to improve, and the NFC East is once again a battleground. For the Eagles to maintain their dominance or even improve upon it, they need their entire roster to perform at a high level. That means not only their starters, but also the depth players who might step in during injuries or critical moments. The tight end room, with all its uncertainties, is just one piece of this intricate puzzle. And speaking of the bigger picture, the NFL landscape is evolving rapidly. Teams are shifting towards more versatile personnel, and the tight end position is no longer just about blocking and red zone targets. It's about creating mismatches, stretching defenses, and becoming a quarterback's best friend. The Eagles have recognized this trend, and their roster moves reflect that philosophy. The question now is whether the players they have can adapt and elevate their game when it counts most. The upcoming preseason will be a crucial testing ground. We'll see how Muse performs, whether Bryant can improve his blocking, and if Granson can continue to develop as a reliable receiving threat. The coaching staff will be scrutinizing every play, every route, every block, trying to identify those hidden gems that could make a difference in the regular season and beyond. For fans, it's an exciting time because every snap is a chance to see the future unfold. Will Muse turn heads and earn a roster spot? Will one of the younger tight ends emerge as a true weapon? Or will the Eagles stick with what they have and look to make a move during the season if needed? All of these questions are part of the journey they're on now. As we look at the bigger picture, it's clear that the Eagles are not resting on their laurels. They're continuously adjusting, trying to find that perfect combination of talent and chemistry. The tight end position, often underrated, could become a key factor in their quest for another Super Bowl. How they navigate this phase of roster building could define their season. The NFL is a league of fine margins, and even small improvements or setbacks can have a ripple effect. So, Eagles fans, stay tuned because the next few weeks are going to be pivotal. The preseason will give us a lot of answers, and by then, we'll know if Muse or someone else can step up and become that reliable, dynamic tight end the team needs. The front office's moves suggest they're not done yet, and they're always looking for that edge to give Philadelphia the best shot at glory. Remember, every championship team is built on details, on hidden efforts, on the right players stepping into the spotlight at the right time. And now, Philadelphia Eagles fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Philadelphia Eagles. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Philadelphia Eagles news. We're in an exciting season ahead, and the best is yet to come. Keep supporting your team, keep believing, and let's make this a season to remember.